My fight show is now going to welcome in a guest that when I tell you, I have been trying to hunt down this frequent guest of ours who's not as frequent as I've been trying to get her on this show. I'm trying to make this interview happen since, well, Knuckle Mania, but I'm always happy to hear from Taylor Starling. How you doing?
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to be here. I'm sorry. I'm hard to pin down, I know.
The busiest woman in bare knuckle. I don't even think that's stretching it.
It's not. I am always on the go and but I always come back around. Especially for you. I always come back around.
Oh no, we appreciate you. I just had to give you that little bit of grief, but really I was like, I had like a whole set of questions for Taylor, but those are 2 months ago. So I don't even know if we need to bring those up anymore.
It's been 2 months. It's the fact that it's been 2 months is really crazy. I'm so sorry. But I will come. It just I don't know. It'll happen. We just don't know when it'll happen.
All right, so maybe one of those questions is relevant. What was it like, the atmosphere, being in Philadelphia, being a media member at Knucklemania? 'Cause you've been there as a fighter, but what was it like with all of your side tasks and getting in the crowd and feeling that energy?
Oh my gosh, I love being in Philly. Philly is amazing. Philly is a city that goes harder. I mean, I've lived in Albuquerque most of my life. I've been in Florida. I've been all over the place, but Philly is another place that just goes so hard. So the energy is always through the roof, and the people are wild. They're ready to fight at any moment. The fights are going on. They're trying to make fights in the crowd. It was crazy. I was right in the middle of the Mike Perry scuffle, so I had to defend myself, make sure I didn't get a chair thrown at me. It was crazy. But it's awesome. It's the best. It's what makes bare knuckles so great.
I feel like way too judgmental because I love bare knuckle, but seeing that almost reaction that you want and you need of how passionate the crowd is, but I almost feel like, is this too passionate? Like, we know this is an ECW crowd, but when we're talking about the 2300 arena versus Wells Fargo, it might be a little too chaotic to have BKFC in that city.
Oh, it's insane. Those people are ready to fight. They are waiting for someone to say anything bad against Philadelphia or anything bad about the birds so that they can just swing on each other. I think they go there trying to fight. They just all need contracts. Philadelphia, we need more tryouts there because those people love to fight.
Now, you said you were right by the skirmish between Eddie Alvarez, Mike Perry. It's not like Taylor's not used to a skirmish. I think once upon a time you caused one. What were you thinking as it happened? Did you see it unfolding?
I could just hear it. Eddie Alvarez's wife was screaming. I don't know what the context was. I've seen so many different stories, but from my perspective, I just heard Eddie's wife screaming. And as soon as I turn around, there's 10 people on top of Mike Perry. And I was this close to just jumping over and going in. And my husband Nick's there as the photographer, and he's like, do not get in that. Like, do not jump in there. So I just stepped back and watched it all unfold, and it was madness. I think just people had too many drinks, and uh I think maybe someone heard something say the wrong thing. I don't know, but it was very eventful, and it was cool. I was sitting near people who had never been to the fights. So there's crowd fights going on. There's fights going on in the ring, and they're just loving it. So it was really cool, and I'm Switzerland. I just try to stay neutral, but I was like, man, I really want to jump in too.
Shout out to Nick Vespi for having the clear head to look out for Taylor. You're like, do not get involved. No reason to have you in here.
He knows me. He knows I love this shit. So I was like, I want to jump in there. I got to get in. And seeing Mike Perry have 10 people on top of him, I'm like, all right, I can at least take one of them out. Let's go.
I feel like there's a bad joke about, is that really the first time that anyone has seen 10 people on top of Mike Perry? I mean, come on.
Yeah, that guy is a walking magnet for violence.
And it seemed like when I said, well, Taylor has caused this skirmish once or twice upon a time, it seemed like you had a rebuttal to that.
Oh my gosh. Maybe. Have I? Have I started this
Well, at
fight?
least once when you walked up on Christine, and then unfortunately it took so many security guards that it looked like a skirmish.
That's funny. That I mean, that was like staged, so I don't really count it as that. But I'm known to start a scuffle or two.
I mean, I don't pull back the curtain too hard on the WWE here. I mean, like, we couldn't tell that was staged. I think the best stage that I saw was Lorenzo actually posting the screenshots of when he told Mike Perry, "You will get paid for staged antics, bro. Come over here."
Exactly. Oh man, that's a fight I'd like to see. That's a fight I'd really like to see.
I know we want to see the best for fighters, but was there like even you're a media member involved with the company, but you hear Nate Diaz, Mike Perry, and it's not happening in your ring? Is there a little disappointment?
Yeah, to some degree, I think it would have been way more awesome to have them to have that fight in our ring. I mean, it's bare knuckle. It's far more exciting than MMA. And I feel like too, I mean, Mike Perry's a freaking stud at what he does. Nate hasn't been in there in a while. So it's one of those things that has the potential of like being a slugfest or being super boring, in my opinion. I think Mike Perry's going to do everything in his power to make sure that that doesn't happen, but in bare knuckle, it's pretty hard to have a boring fight, especially with Mike Perry. So it is a little discouraging. But I also want more of our homegrown guys. Like I want a homegrown guy to get a crack at Mike Perry. Not former UFC, not former, like I want a homegrown star like Lorenzo Hunt to get a crack at Mike Perry. That's something I want to see happen.
I don't think I could bring myself to like vote for Mike Perry in the BKFC rankings or the pound for pound rankings because I got a whole bunch of beefs with him fighting smaller guys right now, not fighting guys in the company. Like, what would Dave Mundell or Lorenzo Hunt have to do, like literally to beg to personally like attack him in the crowd like Eddie? What would you have to do to make one of the fights that would cross over the biggest star and the stars that are truly the homegrown guys? I think we need to see those.
I'm not sure. I think Lorenzo Hunt really truly deserves that. I think that's someone that really, I mean, Mundell too. They've deserved their spots to fight Mike Perry, but it's almost like from the marketing perspective, the way that I see it is, you've got homegrown star and you've got Mike Perry. We don't want to kill the momentum of either of those things. So that might be why they haven't put them in there yet. Mundell, Lorenzo Hunt, they have great star power, like they're on their own trajectory. Mike Perry is already a star. So maybe that's what they're thinking. Maybe they don't want to kill the momentum of either. Um, that's all I can really think as to why it hasn't happened yet. I think Lorenzo and Mundell definitely deserve it. And I think that BKFC knows that they deserve it. I think they just want to keep their stars in all avenues.
Well, it was like the greatest thing and the worst thing. We have an injury, and Dave Mundell jumps up, and little do we know, Dave's injured himself, and the fight ends in such a highlight reel fashion. But it feels like it takes away from what could have been bigger. Like if they would have met in a neutral weight class and we could have bumped this up and they would have been built, both could have been healthy, but credit to Lorenzo, he ends it in such definitive fashion that I don't know if we'll ever get to make that fight that seems like it could have been absolutely massive given the right platform to build it.
Yeah, and it's so unfortunate because us as fighters, we want to take that chance. We want to take that risk. We do want that big fight and that big name. And taking a risk like that is, you know, something that we see as greatness as fighters, and you, someone who's in combat sports all the time, we see that as such a great thing to really test yourself and push yourself and go and fight Lorenzo on short notice. But the fans, unfortunately, that kills a little bit of the star power that we were just talking about. They go, oh, well, Lorenzo Hunt beat him. And I know Mundell's gonna work himself back up. And I mean, if Lorenzo Hunt doesn't get Mike Perry, Mundell should get him. Mundell is a powerhouse. He's a beast. He's a monster. And Lorenzo Hunt, great all across the board. But yeah, that's what we do. Sometimes we just take that risk, something, and the opportunity presents itself, and it's really hard to say no to.
And before I lose it, Taylor said a couple minutes ago, BKFC, the most exciting bare knuckles, the most exciting combat sport of the genre that we have. I met you in a boxing slash MMA gym. Did you ever think from that excitement that you had about the sport that your perspective could sway towards, oh no, this isn't as great as the other thing I now found?
You know, if bare knuckle had been around in that time period, I feel like I would agree. That just wasn't something that was on the table at the time. But I was just a scrappy little girl that wanted to fight, and I was mad at the world, and that was the only avenue I had. And when once bare knuckle presented itself to me, and I seen it, and I seen what it was becoming, I knew I had to be a part of that. But I never would have in a million years thought of something like that when you first interviewed me. I don't even know how old I was, like I was a teenager. Um, but I'm so happy it's here. It definitely is taking over the combat sports world. It is the most exciting. There's no way anyone could say that bare knuckle is not the most exciting. It's something you can watch. Some people watch UFC and they don't know the jiu-jitsu, the grappling, the submissions, what's going on the ground, and they call it boring. There's none of that in bare knuckle. In bare knuckle, it's nonstop action. You don't have to know anything about fighting to watch a bare knuckle fight and enjoy it for what it is.
You kind of sound like it reminds me of CM Punk, of Bobby Lashley. They were guys that have dabbled in MMA, and they were both like, we would never have been in pro wrestling if MMA would have been around when we were growing up. And now it's crazy to hear that same perspective get translated over to bare knuckle, where it's like, I would have never put on the gloves if this would have been an option for me.
Yeah, and it's really wild to think of when it was first coming around, and even when I first heard of it, I was like, "Wow, this is insane that people are going in here and fighting without gloves. I wanna do it, but that's crazy." And to hear the whispers and the, "What is this? Why are people doing this? These people are nuts." And now everybody wants to do it, and everybody wants to watch it, and it's awesome.
Yeah, people judge MMA after watching bare knuckle, and I went a different way. It's really hard for me to watch traditional boxing after watching
Yeah.
bare knuckle. I just hear 10 rounds, 12 rounds, and I already start thinking, if you guys took the gloves off, we could handle this in like 5 minutes.
Exactly, exactly. I will watch boxing if it's someone I'm really rooting for or wanna watch, and even then, I say to myself, "I can change the channel, and in 20 minutes, this fight's still gonna be going on." And, yeah, the fast pace is everything in bare knuckle.
Taylor Starling, the fast pace. The gloves have been on, the gloves have been off. Got to bring it up. Last time we talked to you, and I'm figuring this story isn't going to have a happy ending. What's your perspective now on Misfits boxing, or have they totally ghosted you in any kind of compensation?
Um, no, I did get paid, thankfully, but unfortunately, it was after I made a post on Instagram. I just happened to magically get paid later that day. You know, I'm trying to be, like I said, I'm Switzerland. I'm trying to be Switzerland. I definitely think they had different agendas when it came to me and their champ in Carla Jade. I think they wanted to keep her in that position. I think there are a lot of dirty things that went on behind the scenes, things with their commission. They Some of them unfollowed me, and some of them said some pretty nasty things about me on Twitter when I don't go on Twitter. I had a Twitter, I deleted it, but they all went to bash me on social media that I don't exist on. And, you know, I get it. It's unfortunate nowadays. Boxing and all of these things are politics. I think Carla went up a weight class and fought Pearl Gonzalez, but that position of keeping Pearl as champion, Pearl dominantly beat her. Pearl dominantly beat Carla in that fight, just like I dominantly beat Carla in our fight. But there was no losing anything with like that was their opportunity to say, "Hey, we aren't rigging the fights. We aren't paying off judges. We aren't doing anything. Pearl is the champion at 125. Carla's still the champion at 115. They don't lose any stake, and Carla still doesn't lose anything by losing against Pearl Gonzalez." So, yeah, I have my own opinions on it. I think that they treat other people really well. They paid me great. I got to go to Dubai. There are a lot of positives with it, and I wish it would have worked out the way that it should have and didn't go so sour, because I would love to be staying active in boxing. It just was something that my integrity as a human being will not be compensated for money. Like, there's not enough money in the world that could convince me to go fight for them again, just because of my integrity as a human being and being a good person. And I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to be a part of something dirty or something where people aren't looking out for my best interests when I am someone who goes so hard for people I'm fighting for. Um, Yeah, so it's unfortunate, but you know, you learn the lessons, and I've been in this game a long time and I had thought I learned them all and I did not. So it was another lesson learned, and I can, you know, help younger fighters learn those things myself. And you know, you just learn, you move on, you get over it. I was really mad for about 2 months and then I said, "Time to let it go. Fuck them."
You're Switzerland. Everybody wondering. We will take each interview from tonight, put it up separately on YouTube. Taylor's will be called. I'm trying to be Switzerland. She already
Yeah.
gave us the title here. We
Trying.
have to
Keyword
try.
try. I try to be Switzerland.
Oh, she's like, I try. Oh, having a child.
I try.
And you're trying to also stay active now back in bare knuckle. Before we get to your fight, there's a fight that piqued my attention that kind of, I think, benefited you. When you see the woman you just beat in Shelby Cannon have such a performance against Rosalinda, who they were trying to set up for a title shot, how you think that does for you coming off the performance you had against Shelby?
Well, first of all, I do have to say that was, man, what a spectacular, can't even talk. Spectacular performance on Shelby's end. I think what happened with our fight and the way that it went, I even said in the ring, this fight could have went to Shelby and I can't even be mad at it. It was so razor thin, close. I see how I could have won. I see how she could have won. I wasn't too confident, honestly, when they were reading our decision. It was like, it could go either way. I've been on the other end, like when I fought Britain. Um, but Shelby really went and just put her head down and got to work. And I can tell that she really, really capitalized on all the little things that she needed to work on in order to not just get through the fight to decision, like to dominantly win. And that was awesome to watch. I feel like there was a lot of fear around Rosalinda. Rosalinda's a great fighter. She's an amazing boxer. She's a scary girl. I think that she was beating people mentally before even getting in the ring with her and then capitalizing on that using her boxing technique. Shelby just took all of the things from our fight that she did and made them better and really elevated her game, and it showed, and it was awesome. It was awesome.
You keep proving more and more, like I said, the busiest woman in bare knuckle, the face of BKFC's women division without having a title. As if we're going to Sturgis, we got to have Taylor on the card. If we're having a big event, can we have Taylor doing media? Hey, we're going to do something crazy. Blood for Blood. We're teaming up with a rock concert. We're having 4 bands. Slaughter to Prevail is going to open it. Oh, yeah, let's have Alex the Terrible then headline the show against Cameron Delano. That is just a spectacle in itself. Oh, yeah, and we have to have Taylor Starling on the card. You get a call. What were your first thoughts about Blood for Blood?
What an awesome idea. I had told Nate Shook over at Bare Knuckle I really want to be in Sturgis again. You can't have Sturgis without me now. Sturgis, me and Sturgis go together like peanut butter and jelly. I love the crowd there. I love the energy. It's amazing, and the fans. But I said I really want to be active before then. What can we do so that I can fight before I go to Sturgis again? Sturgis is too far out. I need to do something. I need to stay busy. And they said, well, we have this rock concert. And all of these people that have talked to me about tattoos and being tattooed and having a face tattoo, where are you now? Because that's what gets me these spots. They're like, you have the look, you have the it factor of like, the rockers are gonna love you, the bikers are gonna love you. You're just this heavily tattooed, hot blonde girl. Wherever we can put you, that is that dynamic is where you need to go. So they called me, and I was like, I would love to do that, and I know I'm the perfect girl for that. And I'm excited. You know, there are a lot of little factors that the people won't know about that have gone into this taking this fight and the way that it's working, but I'm thankful that the opportunity like smoothed itself out. We found an opponent and I'm fighting, and I'm ready to go. I'm excited.
Is this the kind of opportunity? Is this the opponent that you were looking at? Marisola Rolas? I'm thinking that you were hoping for something a little bit bigger.
Yeah, I wanted to fight at 115. But they couldn't find anybody, you know, it's hard. We have such a shallow division of women. So it's hard to find fights that make sense for not only size, matchup, like record wise. I mean Marisol doesn't have the most perfect record in bare knuckle, but she's a heavier girl and she's fighting at 145 and 135. That's a big risk for me to go up to 125 and fight this girl who's been fighting way heavier. So the record, isn't the best, but when it came to the 115 division, there was no one essentially that I could get matched up with that made sense, that had a good record, that made sense against fighting, like, to fight me for the price that they were offering for all of it. All of the logistics were all over the place. And so they couldn't find anybody. And I was sitting for a while and waiting. They were like, we will find somebody. We will find somebody. And they said, how about Marisol? And I said, perfect, let's do it. And they waited a little too long for me to cut to 115. So I was like, all right, we're making a jump to 125.
So this fight was possible for 115 if it didn't take so long to come together. Just wondering, because as you said, Marisol has fought so heavy before. I wonder, is there any worry or concern on your guys' part? Can she make this weight?
Yes, definitely. I'm excited because Marisol's a mother. She's tough as nails. Like, I don't care. Records don't reflect anything. This girl, her last bare knuckle outing, she fought Brooke Evans and they were slinging. But the one thing from that fight was they were supposed to fight at 125 and Marisol didn't make weight, so they made it a catch weight at 132, 135, somewhere around there. It was ended up being a catch weight. So that does worry me, but also at the same time, I'm like, whatever, she doesn't make weight, we don't fight, and then that's it. I go to Disney. That's it. Stay ready, be ready. Whatever happens, happens, and if not, Taylor's going to Disney. So,
The part I find about the dynamic, like you said, your aesthetic, what I find most funny is you look like the metal, you look like the rocker, but it's a lot closer to you guys are Nick's the skater, and your favorite band is Red Hot Chili Peppers. So I'm like, it's a lot more of the grunge vibe than it is the metal vibe in real life.
I love everything. I love all music. I've dabbled in all of it. I've listened to Norwegian black metal. I haven't I'm gonna get myself in trouble. Let me shut up. But I listen to metal, I listen to 90s rock, I listen to Nick calls it yacht rock. I've listened to country, rap, everything. I love everything. There isn't anything I don't really like. I like a little bit of something from everything. And but I definitely would say I like rock music more than anything.
I think Taylor was about to slip up and tell us she doesn't listen to Slaughter to Prevail, that she never listened to Alex the Terrible. I mean, the dude is incredible. I'm going to tell you, I went and saw him open for Five Finger Death Punch here in town. So
See, I
I'm
love
already a
Five
fan.
Finger Death Punch, but then I just haven't. I'm doing my homework, but I was haven't like really like dug into Slaughter to Prevail. Like these fans are die hard. I didn't realize how die hard they are. I've seen Alex the Terrible in social media, like wrestling bears, cutting his own face open, but doing fighting. Like, just this guy's nuts. He's awesome. It's great. I'm so glad that he's gonna be stepping in the squared circle. He really seems like a genuinely nice, good human being. But have I sat and really listened to Slaughter to Prevail? No, I have not. You can clip that out if you want. You can also leave it in. Um, I'm sure there's something I like though. I'm sure there's something that they have that I like.
Alex versus Cameron, though, that is going to be such a fun fight, people. Like, they're both so adrenaline junkies and extremists. They're just both gonna go for the, I want to call them novice, because they've each had experience, big successful in bare knuckle. They're just not fully evolved to where I'd say they're pro caliber fighters, just under it, but they're both just action fighters at that.
Oh yeah. I mean, I just saw Cameron Delano post that he would fight Darren Till, and I'm like, this guy's a madman. Okay, go ahead, do it. He's not scared. He's definitely wants to be in there and he wants to throw the hell down. So him and Alex the Terrible, they're gonna have a good night. This is all of the makings for a good fight, and I can't wait to see how that goes. I can't believe Alex the Terrible is performing right after. I even said something on the Bare Knuckle show that I needed to go up there and try to perform with him after, but I don't. I I'm such a girl. I would be like, ah, like that's what my scream would sound like.
Not hitting the right note.
I know, right? I don't know I don't even know how they do it. The stomach for that.
Well, I'm trying to get Taylor in trouble here, and I already threw it out on Twitter earlier yesterday. I got like just a few responses. I'm not trying to beat up Dave here, but does Darren Till feel like the biggest signing in BKFC history? I'm like, we've had Mike Perry, we've had Eddie Alvarez, Andre Arlovsky. I'm not trying to beat up on Darren, but the company has hired multiple world champions before. Austin Trout has become a world champion. Do you think, from the media side of Taylor now, does Darren Till feel like the biggest signing, or could we say this is the biggest UK signing the company has ever made?
I definitely agree in saying the biggest UK signing. When I heard the rumblings of it on the show and the lead up to it, and they said UK, I was like, it has to be Darren Till. But the exact words out of my mouth, it has to be Darren Till, but that's not the biggest person we've ever signed. And I do think that it is a huge star. I think it's amazing to have Darren Till in BKFC. I think he's going to do amazing at it. He's going to be phenomenal. He's going to be a star, but I don't think it's the biggest. The biggest, I think, to me will be when not Mike Perry, when Conor McGregor signs. When Conor McGregor signs, I think that that's going to be huge. There's even some boxers that I'm like, oh, if they came over here, that would be huge. I'm excited for Darren Till's debut. I'm excited to see what he brings to the table, but I wouldn't say the biggest.
It's
You're
also
gonna
like,
get me fired. You're gonna get me
I
fired.
was going to
And you're
say,
gonna get these fighters and singers hating me. I'm Switzerland. I can't be you're making me not Switzerland.
I'll send you my Pandora link so you can listen to some of it while you're driving around.
Thank
I
you.
already studied them long before when I was going to concert. Like, I need to know. It sounded awesome.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I thought it was funny that Regis Prograis, we had those rumors that it seemed like he was going to sign with Bare Knuckle. This weekend, he's fighting, I believe, on the undercard of Tyson Fury. So even when you start negotiating with BKFC now, it seems like that leads to big things.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think there are so many promotions that also don't want fighters to go to bare knuckle that they try to up the ante when it's on the table. They say, "Oh no, you know what? We'll pay you an extra whatever to bring you over here so you don't go over there." And that's it's bare knuckle just brings all of the good things. See, here we go. I'm gonna be Switzerland again. I'm Miss USA. Bare knuckle is the best, and it does great things for everybody, whether you're in or you're out.
Bernie, Brian, Dave, don't be mad at us. I'm already expecting the text messages later. We're just having fun on the podcast. Bare knuckle is the most exciting combat sport in the fight industry. Most important, Taylor Starling as an evolving fighter. What are you expecting out of this newest version that we are going to see May 6th, Daytona, this one of a kind spectacular that only BKFC could put together?
Oh, I'm so excited. Like I said, I get to go up a weight class. I fought at 125 when I first started, but that was because it was the only division we had. Jumped up in weight to fight Beck. I don't believe that Marisol is the same caliber as Beck Rawlings, and me and Beck went all 5 rounds. I've done a lot of different conditioning and things to keep my weight on in the way that it should be on. I really hope she makes weight because I'm so excited to step in the squared circle with her. I know that she is a very formidable opponent. She is a mom. She has gone in there. She really tests herself with like power slap, MMA, boxing, BKFC. She's a tough girl. She's no joke. And I think something about coming off of a loss makes you more dangerous. So I'm excited to get in there with her. There will be blood. And we know when I fight, 9 times out of 10, it's a fight of the night or a war or something. And I just know it's going to be show stopping. My goal is to steal the show. I want Alex Terrible to do great in his performance. I want Cameron Delano to do great in his performance, but I am going to make it the Killer Bee show. That's what it's going to be. And I can't wait to bring that to Daytona and to Blood for Blood.
Taylor Starling always steals the show. And I was going to let you go, but I got one more question now.
Let's
Have
go.
Keith and the team just already given up in trying to say, is it possible for you to not make the fight so exciting?
Oh my gosh, they when I tell you that these people tell me to be calm when I fight, and I really try my hardest to not just brawl and make it this insane war, but something in me just switches when I get in there. Something switches, and I'm like, I could play it safe or I could go out here and just throw it down, and it happens every time. And yeah, they know. They try to tell me. They try to reel me in, and it never happens.
Whether it takes 2 months, 2 years, 2 decades, an interview with Taylor Starling is always worth it.
When I get in trouble though, when I get in trouble, I'll be writing you a letter.
Just send me the screenshots. I'll send them some right back.
No, it's always worth it. And like I always say time and time again, you are the first person to have ever interviewed me. I was talking to my best friend on the phone while I was driving home from the gym today. I had a 2-hour drive from the gym. And I was talking to my friend. I said, I'm doing this interview with this guy. She doesn't know much about combat sports. And I was like, he was the first person to ever interview me ever when I was a nobody, no name. And I was so nervous. And I will always try to find the time to talk to him. So I'm so glad we got to talk. And it's a pinch myself moment every time that we do.
See, Taylor's like, when I was nobody, when I was nothing, when nobody was paying attention to me, I'm like, no, no, all of you fighters are important. That's why we're here. That's what we're trying to do. Everybody's stories, everybody's opinions, they're valid. Maybe some need to be edited. Hopefully we won't get in trouble for all of them, but we're here for all of the fighters.
You're the best.
No, you're the best.